Gosh. Came home, chilled out for a second.
Wait, he started with tequila though, but now he's on dark.
You know what? It's my weekend. Start drinking a little tequila. Something light, start the day off soft. I said, you know what? My theory was this. If I was in Mexico or Jamaica on vacation,
you're not there.
I'd be doing this anyway.
But that's not where you are.
Hey.
Yo, I'm sweating buckets right now, bro.
All I'm saying is, the bucket. But
I shouldn't have worn this sweater.
Started off easy.
But I haven't worn it yet.
I'm
trying to switch up my colors.
Walked the dog. Took a little nap. Woke up.
Had lunch, then
watched
had
the
some
movie.
dark.
Yeah, it was me and Shock Teller. Watched the movie. Then we ate lunch. Then I finished the rest of the bottle because it wasn't that much.
Damn.
It wasn't that much. Chilled out a little longer. I think we probably watched another movie or two. And then I cracked the Evan Williams out. Started with that one.
My stomach rolls are sweating too.
Wow. What the fuck?
Okay, she's eating with the white.
This is about to be wild right now.
Celeste Taylor. I kind of like the name Celeste. It's not bad.
My stomach rolls are sweating right now.
Okay, you guys want to get started or what? My back is sticking to the
Wow.
That's wild, bro.
Why did you decide to wear a sweatshirt? It was 80 degrees today.
It definitely
It's not that though. Like the alcohol made me hot for sure.
Gotcha.
You got on pants and a sweatshirt though.
These are breezy.
Whatever. They don't look breezy to me.
I went for the relaxed, chill look.
Okay. Ooh. All right. That's how whenever you ready.
Welcome back to your favorite podcast. No, I'm just playing. Okay. Why y'all act like I'm that person? I'm that person for real?
Yeah. No dark.
Yeah.
I'm not even. This is me.
I know this is you.
All right.
Sweating and everything.
Yeah.
Roll sweaty.
The
Come on, let's
dark
go.
just bring the complete you out of you.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. It's on you.
Like I don't even feel nothing.
Okay.
I don't even.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
My face isn't. I'm dry.
Yeah, okay.
No, they always get smudgy.
She's on fire.
Come on,
Yeah, I'm the roof right now.
Wow.
Anyway.
Okay.
I can't.
Get it
Okay.
popping.
All right.
This podcast is being brought to you by Lifestyle Hair Lounge and Hair by Marie Season. If you are looking to look your best man or woman, they will get you ready for a night out or any special occasion. Now presenting a day in the Lifestyle podcast. Enjoy!
Welcome back to a Day in the Lifestyle podcast. I'm your host, Marie, here with Rich and Cliff, the two owners of Lifestyle Hair Lounge here in Pennsauken, New Jersey. And today we're going to be talking about financial literacy. So a lot of people have been wanting to know, how did you guys get started with opening up the shop and what it took for price wise for you guys to pay and open up the shop?
Well, for starters, we have opened up multiple locations. And for those who don't know already, I actually owned or the original owner of Levels Barbershop prior to the upgrade of Lifestyle Barbershop, Lifestyle Hair Lounge, let me correct that. So we've kind of witnessed the numbers go from, a very bare minimum as a first start to, what I would think is an outrageous number. But again, being new in the business and trying to be an owner, the number gets a little crazy. Flat out numbers. I don't know if you want to go flat out numbers or if you want to give a description.
Nah, go ahead. Go with the numbers first.
Flat out numbers. Let's see. From the first shop we started, it probably ran about as low as maybe about 5,000.
Bare bones.
What was that?
I said bare bones.
Oh yeah, that's bare minimum. We talking, $150, $200 barber chairs.
DIY.
Yeah,
Everything DIY.
yeah. We setting up everything. The floors, it ain't no hardwood. We out here all the sticky joints. It's like linoleum looking wood floors. It was crazy. Obviously, no permits. It got a little wild. The first shop, no permits, not at all. It got a little wild, and that was just me being young and jumping into something that I thought I was ready for. That kind of kicked my behind a little bit, but it was a good learning experience. And over time, we got to where we are now with my partner, and the experience is a lot better. But we looking at this specific building, probably somewhere around $25,000 to get everything the way it is, equipment, paint, sheetrock, just the entire build out, somewhere around $25,000.
And that's still pretty bare bones because we didn't pay the correct number for the contractors. We got friend discounts.
Yeah, we had a friend of a friend.
Yeah, we got friend discounts for the contractors. So that's still a pretty low number. And if we're gonna say 25,000, did you include the deposit? Did you include the deposit in any of those numbers? Because
no.
When you set up a brand new shop, obviously, it could be a little bit different if you go with a studio space.
Yeah.
Did they ask for a deposit?
Mm-hmm.
Was it 2.5 times?
I think actually, because I was just doing it.
Yeah,
I think it was actually just 1.5 of rent when I wait.
1.5. That's fine. I mean, that's
like regular. It's usually like 1.5, and then like first and last month, something like that, or 2.5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was 1.5 when I had to move in. So that was my
Okay.
I would go anywhere from 1.5 to 3.5.
And then if I move out, I get that back.
Yeah, 3.5 is when your stuff is a little bit suspect.
Yep.
Right. But anywhere from 1.5 to 3.5. So if you include
asking for 3.5.
Look,
listen,
if that credit don't come back right,
if your credit don't come back right,
you a liability. I need all that up front.
Yeah, yeah. So if you add that in, that's going to inflate the numbers, right? Especially depending on where you're at and what that number is, what your monthly rent is.
Yeah.
Right. If you on the low end, if you somewhere in, let's say it's 1,500 or something, right?
I would love to find a $1,500 space.
I'm not saying they exist, but I'm saying at some point they did, right?
Yeah.
But depending on where you're at in the country, you could be at 5, 7, 10, right? So then that 2 to 3.5 number gets it gets serious if you had like 10 grand a month.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. At 10,000 a month.
Yeah.
And I need 2.5.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Right. That's the 25 right there, right?
25 up front.
Yeah. That's 25 for the deposit.
You ain't even get in the building
yet. And then the other thing is, I know obviously when you first getting started, most likely not setting it up the right way.
No.
But as we move forward, we want to have operating costs, a certain amount of operating costs set aside.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, things get rough, right? So, you want to have like, anywhere from 6 months or 3 to 6 months, maybe 9 months, whatever, of operating costs, just in case, right? So if you add that number in as well.
Yeah, I didn't add any of that number. That was just the straight build out. That's what we ended up paying for the equipment and everything else. Yeah, I didn't include the 3 to 6 month cushion or the deposit. Honestly, that was just what it cost to put everything in the building together.
Just hardware as far as stations, mirrors, chairs.
The basics, just to make it look like a shop.
And then the build out, right? And then one more thing I just thought of, right? If you include the signage, right?
Okay.
If you include the signage, which could change and did change from space to space.
Exactly.
Right?
Every space is different.
Every space is different. But if you include signage, that would go into the marketing, advertising
Yep.
bucket.
It goes into a different space.
right?
Yeah.
So there's more that goes into that.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yep.
here, in particular, more than we did it at the last one as well, right?
Yeah,
Where we
yeah.
bought the flags.
Yep.
Right. You bought the street flags and all of that, right? So there's a little bit more, you know what I mean? I don't know if that was included on the initial part.
No.
But
so as you're adding things in or reminding me of all the different things,
Mhm.
it just goes to show I literally just put the number that it cost us for inside.
Yep.
I didn't
just
even-
interior.
I didn't add anything extra. I didn't take into account the marketing that we had to spend money on, bringing the place to life 3 to 4 months prior to us moving here,
Mhm.
or even the marketing that it took afterwards.
Mhm.
So, yeah, no, that 25, that was a mean ass low ball. That was a mean low ball.
Okay.
Because if we talk in that sense, we might be closer to 40.
I think that number is
Yeah.
is more accurate.
Yeah, we might be
You know what I
closer
mean?
to 40,000.
Yeah.
And it didn't even feel like 40,000.
Of course not, because some of it doesn't get spent,
Yeah.
right? Some of it doesn't get spent,
It's
some of
a
it you
slow
don't
walk.
see, some of it, yeah. But I think that's closer, right?
Yeah.
So that's for us, right? Running a shop with employees, running a full-time shop,
Yeah.
right? Barbershop. In Marie's case, right? What do you think your initial cost was as far as build out, as far as all the things that we mentioned?
Pretty much for me, I feel like, well, the rent situation, I did the math. It was like about $1,400 or whatever to move in. And then like me bringing in like all my supplies and like, well, equipment and stuff like that, like chairs and decor and stuff that I put in there. I would say total like $2,500 for my little suite space.
Ooh,
But you got a suite.
Yeah.
Right? You got a suite. So
Yeah.
it's obviously it's
little-
gonna be a little bit different.
What is it?
And
I don't know, 25 by something.
if you don't mind me asking, what does your rent look like?
My rent, so I pay $550 a month. Yeah. Nice.
$550 a month? Ugh.
Yeah, the good
Okay.
life.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, for your $550, is there anything that you feel like you're missing or that you miss from being in a bigger space? Like, I know you don't have like you have all your clients come in and they do like their own hair washes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you miss having a sink? Would you rather do the hair washes yourself? Or you okay with them washing their own?
Yeah, so when it comes to some clients, or specific services, so like primarily the guys, I'd rather wash their hair because guys, they don't like to do too much to their hair anyway. Like they want you, if they get their hair done, they want you to do everything.
They want the works. Yeah.
Some
But-
guys do come in and they hair nicely washed, like they got whatever.
Here's the thing though. Every person doesn't know
How to properly wash their hair, yeah.
Like they may
Most
wash
people-
their hair consistently, but
Most people don't know how to wash their hair.
Yeah.
they can wash their hair for their own liking, but they
Mhm.
don't know how to wash their hair for a service.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's a big difference.
So yeah, that part, and then like, so service wise, I do offer silk presses, like getting your hair straightened or whatever, but I would prefer to wash your hair for that, but I don't have a sink right now. So they do have to come wash, and then I'll do the rest. I'll do everything else like blow dry and stuff, etc. But yeah, getting a sink is something that I wish I could have gotten. So when I was looking at spaces, the guy that was like showing me the stuff, he was like, there were a couple options or spaces where like I could have gotten one like installed, but like my room would have to been like connected or close to like the bathroom, because like the suites originally when they were built, like they don't come with sinks in them because they're all just office space rooms. But yeah, and I didn't really find one that I liked to do that, to get a sink installed there. So that is something that I'm like working on now for the future, to have a sink, whether I stay or leave or add one or whatever. So that is something I'm like working towards now. But yeah, pretty much like that. Only I feel like that really is like my only downfall, is not having the sink. And two, because that is something extra offered. That is something extra that I could offer as a service wise, and just upgrade everything else, of course. And for me, with my services and what I would like to, if the client doesn't come in properly washed how I may like it, like that's something that I have to, that's something that I have to deal with or try to fix myself. And then just give them tips for next time or whatever if they come in. But pretty much, yeah, not having that. Yeah, that's besides that, that's pretty much it. I mean, anything else, like if I didn't like I could add it myself or bring stuff in, like, so.
But in either case, so for the most part, that's really the biggest pet peeve. But
yeah, I mean, besides that, it's pretty free range. Like I don't have like issues or complaints and stuff like that. So.
I got a follow-up question for you. You said that the initial costs were about $2,500, right? Let's say you had no budget. You had an open checkbook. How much do you think it would be? What would the difference be if, you know, the number was unlimited as far as starting a suite? Like if you could spend whatever you wanted.
Yeah, to like put anything I wanted in there.
You wanted just to get, because we see that, but that's probably on the low end.
Yep.
But
get a look,
but
like
get a
you
reference.
Really wanted to look.
Reference for a high end.
What would you split?
What would you
what would you spend?
How much do you think that number would get up to? In same space.
Yeah.
Same space. So you can't go crazy.
Yeah.
It's in the same space. So you don't need anything extra, but just
definitely another like big thing or whatever would be like my chair. So definitely would have like just bought a brand new chair off it. I'm trying to think, like, and I know that can get pretty pricey. So we could probably tack on like another 1,000 or at least 500 plus for that. But I'm trying to think what else.
not much else.
Yeah, not much else.
Okay. All right.
Because I know, and also too, like I'm a pretty simple person too. Like as long as my stuff like looks nice and stuff like that, like I don't have to go for the most expensivest thing. Like
so, like $3,000, $3,500.
Yeah, probably
another $1,000 if she would have been.
Yeah,
she would have been what she wanted to be. Okay.
35, 4 maybe max. I'll say max.
I was thinking
4.
of the word expensivest.
Yeah, mind your business.
It's all good. I mean, I'm just trying to like work that out in my brain, but it's all good.
Most expensivest?
Yeah.
We should start saying that now. Why not?
I got you.
Yeah.
So you're 2,500 versus our 40,000.
Yeah. But I mean, my suite is literally like, it's like the size of the lounge.
I mean, but do you need the?
No, I don't need those.
You know what I mean? So you don't need the space. So that's to have.
Yeah, because I honestly like, so they do have my room in there is not the biggest size room. Like they have bigger size rooms that are more per month. Like I go to my waxer, actually, she just moved into the building, but hers is upstairs. Her room is bigger than mine, but she came from a suite too. She came from the solo salon suites, and in a salon suite, it's kind of like small or whatever. Her room is bigger than mine, and like she has like extra space in there and stuff. And I'm like, I'm happy like I didn't move into one. Like I don't need all that extra space. But then again, I mean, it would potentially like be good for the future, because to have extra space, you can add more stuff in there. But I mean, that just all depends on what route you want to go. Like if you want to add more stuff to take up that space and stuff like that. But if you don't plan to, then I mean, it's going to look pretty empty. But I mean, you have the extra space. 9 times out of 10, when you have the extra space, you're gonna end up getting something to fill that space to make it look
absolutely
not empty.
I have another question.
And that's what she is doing. So it is coming together nicely for her.
Okay.
What you got?
Yeah.
The other question I have is, well, when we talked about building out the shops, right? The last part that we added on was obviously the deposit, right?
Yeah.
But we also added on the signage and the marketing and stuff like that, right? And we also added on the operating costs, the overhead for a certain amount of time, right? When it was time for you to open your suite, did you take any of those things into account as far as operating costs for any amount of time?
Did you have a few months of rent put up to the side, any of that? And
marketing, any money set aside for just any level of marketing?
Just promo.
Definitely no money set aside for marketing or promo. I pretty much do all my marketing and promo on Instagram, through social media.
Okay.
Word of mouth. I mean, business cards, they're like $100. No, not $100. They're like
Depends on where
20.
you go. You can get
I ordered them off of Canva. But
did you have your
that's
monthly
not
rent? Couple months put to the side.
Give me a second to think about that.
Sounds like a no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say absolutely not.
No, because I paid the deposit and then
So you jumped out the window.
Yeah,
first month in
you went
rent.
all in.
Yeah, I definitely did. But I
There's nothing wrong with that, though, 'cause you jumped out the window.
I kind of
Plenty of
knew
time.
that I could do that though.
This podcast is being brought to you by Lifestyle Hair Lounge Hair Cream. Whether you are looking to go out to a game night, date night, or hanging out after hours, this beard cream will keep you looking and feeling great. LifestyleHairLounge.com.
So yeah, I pretty much, like you guys were saying, jumped out the window when it came to setting aside monthly rent. But in a way, I knew that I kind of could get away with doing that because I moved in June, and that is the summertime, and that's like the peak of braiders season.
Okay.
So
That's like the opposite for us.
I knew that I was gonna like definitely make my rent June, July, August, going into September. Definitely knew, and I could like save and build off of that. And then, like I said before, previously, I've just been grateful ever since then, and collecting and building my clientele, and have been going good each month. So
Okay.
now I definitely have money saved away and stuff like that for rent.
So I've been, it's been brought to my attention. I've been asked by clients and just people in general. Normally people come into a shop and they ask, how much is a haircut? I'm pretty sure people walk up to you and ask you how much.
Yes.
How much does it cost for your
Right.
style?
When I tell somebody,
And-
"Oh yeah, I do hair," that's one of the first questions.
Yeah,
How much you
that's the
charge?
Very first question.
I'm like,
Absolutely.
well,
How much is it?
Let's
Yeah.
talk
And
about
it's
what
like,
style.
I know some people hesitate to give a number out because it tends to, especially if it's on the higher end, it tends to scare people based off
It could
where you live.
discourage them, right? Like, oh,
Immediately discourage
right?
you.
Like, yeah, never mind.
So it becomes a thing, but people ask that all the time. I know I get that from a lot of different clients, mainly referrals. My clients obviously don't ask that. I do catch hell from certain clients, whatever.
Mhm.
It's all in the spirit of fun. But number wise, why is your number your number? And that goes, on both ends. Why is the number that you chose the number that you're charging for your service? Do you think it's high? Do you think it's low? Should you be charging more? Are you charging your worth? Where are we at with that?
Okay, so me starting this off, I'm about to take up a little bit of your time.
No, you're not.
You don't think mine's about to be longer than yours?
Pause.
Okay, it could be.
Pause. We're gonna bypass that and we're gonna continue on. Let's just stay on top. We're talking about money here, guys. Continue.
I'm crying. Okay, so here's my handy
Why is your number your number?
notes. So my prices for my services, a lot goes into that.
Okay.
I recently did just have a price increase too.
I saw.
For anybody wondering,
And I
didn't,
heard.
and I didn't even go up that much, honestly, but because I don't not to do too much, but so I'm gonna kind of give the list, and then I'm gonna kind of break down where I need to break down. Okay, yeah. So basically, I feel like when it really, like, the overall thing that comes down to your price being your price, I feel like it comes down to like your experience, like how much experience you've had, and like the knowledge that you've gained, and your skill level. I feel like that's like the main thing that kind of like can determine where you would get your number from, like starting out, especially, and like at first or whatever. But like that's like the main thing, like that you base it off of overall, I feel like. So for me, my prices are where they are now, almost, for me being almost 4 years braiding. I started braiding in July 2020. It's April 2024, so April, May, June, July.
It's almost 4 years.
Yeah, almost 4
You
years.
can count.
No, I'm just saying I'm 3 months away from 4 years. Wait.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, 3 months. Okay, I was just doing it for me. Anyway, besides that, so it's not just me 4 years of braiding, but I also did go to cosmetology school and get a license. So that school, that costs money. So that's money right there. Yeah, going to school, before I went to school, I was braiding for 2 years because I went to school. No, 1 year. I went to school in September 2021. And then I was in school for about a year, graduated in 2022, August. But anyway, went to school. Besides that, I was going to say, going into school, like when you're in school, you learn. All right, so being a braider.
You about to get put on timeout. Yeah. We're gonna come back.
No. No.
Get your thoughts together.
Come on,
we're gonna go to the next person. Go ahead, Cliff.
No.
We're gonna start with you. Get your thoughts.
No, because I was gonna say being
all over the place,
a braider, and okay, so for me, I'm self-taught. So everything I learned braiding wise, I taught myself that, and then as time came on, I might have learned a couple things from other people here and there, but for the most part, I'm self-taught.
Everyone's self-taught.
Huh?
Everyone is self-taught.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Not if you take a course and go to somebody to teach you how to braid. There's people out there who don't know how to braid at all and go to somebody and whatever. No.
How many people you think take a course and after the course
I see people take
they
courses.
No. I'm not saying you can't take a course, but that's the same thing as going to cosmetology school, right? Right. When you go to school to learn, right? But how many people graduate from cosmetology school or graduate from barbering school or finish a course and are ready to start a career in that particular field, right? Most people jump into it and they have to teach themselves.
I don't know any barber or cosmetologist for that matter who went to school to learn how to do hair or cut hair and came out of school ready to go to work
and workforce
that didn't already know how to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No way you are. Most people who go into school have already had the experience. They've been in this for a year, 2 years, 3, whatever the amount of time was, and they just went to go get the license to be able to do it legally.
When I wasn't, I don't know if it's changed now, but when I went to school and in my class, it was like a class of 20 girls and half of them in there was fresh out of high school and didn't do hair before that. So they went there to learn how to do that. And then after that, they went into a salon shop and got a job.
And had to learn.
Yeah. Teaching themselves.
Hands on.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. I was just bringing that point up just to say, like, I think that's just common. I think that most people who are in our industry.
I mean, I went in already like knowing that that's what I wanted to do. So me personally, I went in just going to get my license, but I ended up learning all this other stuff along the way because in cosmetology school, they don't teach you how to braid. None of that. No. They teach you how to cut and color hair, specifically certain group people. But yeah. If we're being honest,
I went to cosmetology. I started cosmetology and then I went to barbering, and they didn't teach me how to cut hair. Nope. Like, I'm not saying that.
Oh no, I was talking about cut and color like women.
No, I understand.
The barbering literally at school, barbering was like a week.
Yeah,
if that.
I went to barbering school.
Yeah,
and I learned how to do women's hair. But I didn't learn how to be a barber.
No.
When I graduated, I was not ready.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to fade, shape up. That's not where. And back to the point that Rich is making, like, you're not getting that.
Nope.
You're not getting those lessons and that information from school. What you're getting is a license.
Yep.
You're getting a license to learn, right? Legally. You're not getting top notch. Nobody is teaching you that. You're gonna go into a job and you're gonna be hands on and you're gonna learn and you're gonna catch bodies and you're gonna do all that. And you're teaching yourself, or you're gonna learn from. If you're working in a shop, you're gonna start to learn from the people next to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But part of that is learning from them, and part of that is, YouTube Academy and learning on yourself.
A lot of people I know, YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is like the new wave now.
Yeah.
And if you know someone, like the way I learned, I used to literally go into a barbershop
and just watch
and just sit and watch.
Yep. Yeah.
Ask questions, and it was never asking questions right away. I'm going to watch. I'm going to go home and try this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come back and watch. It takes a couple times to try things before you realize, okay, I can't quite get it like this. Let me ask them now,
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing?
There you go.
Right.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it took me time to be informed and practice and try to understand what I'm asking you as a question.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I just saw and I asked you, I don't understand what you're telling me.
Right.
It could be the simplest thing, but because I haven't tried it, I haven't seen it enough, I don't really know what you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking a question that you give me an answer. It's just like, you're speaking French. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me not to cut you off, Marie, but
No, you're fine.
let me answer
That's
the
funny
question.
Y'all can go.
I'm gonna try to do my best to narrow down my answer, just to, give a different perspective of your answer, right? So, regardless of whatever my number is, right? How I got my number is based on clientele, ultimately, right? I want to say it's based on skill. I want to say it's based on time put in the market. I want to say it's based on how much I spent on tools, how much I spent on school. But the reality of it is that it's based on clientele. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't charge a number that your clients aren't willing to pay, right? And once your book gets filled, you have to make a decision, or you start to lose clients. And this is personal for me, right? Because I've been in a space where my book got over 80% filled, but I wouldn't say I was scared, but I was nervous. I'll say that. I was nervous about increasing my price because I understood what the average price point in the area was. And I knew that if I increased it above the average price point, then that pushback that we were talking about, people saying stuff, you almost don't want to say your number, right? Because you know that you're going to get some sort of pushback, right? But at the end of the day, once you're above 80% booked, you have to make some tough decisions, right? If you don't increase in price and you hit 90 to 95% booked, then you're going to have some regular customers, some people that have been your customers for a long period of time. They're going to start to run into problems attempting to book with you. And then eventually you start to lose.
Yep.
You lose faithful clients that you've had this entire time that helped you get to that point, right? Now you can always bring in new clients, but at that point, you're no longer building. Now you've plateaued. And for every client you lose, now you have to go build a new client. You have to go earn a new one, right? So once you get above 80%, you are basically forced to go up in price, right? Once you go up in price, certain people will fall off. Certain people, for whatever reason, they're not going to be your clients anymore, right? And then once you go up in price, then you're going to attract another tier of clients, right? You went up to another level and now you've attracted more clients, right? So for me, it's client based. You know what I mean? That's how I choose my number. That's how my number continues to increase. No matter what I want my number to be, if my clientele base doesn't dictate it, then it can't be that, right? And then the other part is once you increase your number, you can never decrease your number.
No.
Right? Because then
you can't go back down.
You can't go back down. So you have to make sure that 80% is real, right? Sometimes you might, like you said, in the summertime, for us, that's a notoriously slow time. After July, 4th of July.
Get hype on the holidays. Think you got it.
I would say from probably about now, right? From spring break all the way through July, it tends to pick up.
It's going to run.
Yeah, it's going to run pretty well. Or I would say after from Thanksgiving through the end of the year, normally it runs pretty well, right?
Yep.
You can kind of you can get a little bit gassed off of that and think that I'm at a higher number than I am. I'm booked more than I actually am. But you got to take it in as a whole, right? Pause. And and be realistic. You know what I mean? So short answer is clientele base, percentage of booked is the way that I determine my number, right?
Okay.
That's that might have been a bit long-winded, but really that's just the entire way I do it.
That's
very good explanation.
that's kind of how I started to get to the point of before, like you, I was always kind of nervous. Like I was always like for a while, I've been probably over 80% booked for like, I don't even want to say this number, but like 20 years. I've been booked pretty solid. I've been cutting a lot of the same people.
Mm-hmm.
But it was always like, I never wanted to go up in price unless I was giving more service.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give you the same haircut, the same service for a higher number, because then it's like, in my mind, I don't know how to justify that.
Right.
Now, whether I needed to or not is neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But at
That's
the time, again, being young, not really having the right circle around me in the barber world to explain why things work the way they work and how they work.
Mm-hmm. Supply and demand. It's just that simple.
Yeah, but it took me a while to understand that. I had to really learn business.
We're just business owners, small business owners, whether it's an independent or whether it's an actual business. We're all business owners. It's supply and demand. You know, nobody asks questions when eggs go up.
Right.
No.
It's the same eggs.
And
nobody asks questions when
you start thinking about it
up,
that way.
Milk go up. It's the same milk.
Then things change up.
They ain't giving you
got
nothing
the
extra.
customers that, hey, you kind of high, but you got the Alexander McQueen's on right now.
So
like,
my facts,
my
like,
number
for real.
crazy, but you got $1,000 shoes on.
Like,
but you got the Balenciaga bag.
Yeah,
your kid got Balenciagas on.
Let's talk about
exactly.
it.
So it just put me in the mindset of I had to understand that
people pay for what they want and what they value.
People will pay for what they want and what they value.
Yeah.
So once I understood that I'm a commodity just like everything else. My haircut is a commodity.
Right. If you want my service that bad, you're going to find the money to pay for
That's
it.
it.
Yeah. Somebody will.
And it becomes a point where you have to believe in what you do and believe in yourself. Your
and
work
knowing
ethic.
your worth.
Exactly. Once you find out or believe in your actual worth and know your worth, sky's the limit at that point. Because you can take your number to wherever it needs to be, and you're either going to pay it or you're not. And there's no hard feelings either way. You know, love is love, but you know, my bills don't get paid off of, you know, friendship.
Right.
Unfortunately, PSC&G don't take IOUs. So
that's a fact.
You know,
when this is strictly what you're doing, that's another thing people don't understand too. Like, this is strictly my only income.
That's it.
So like, how am I supposed to live also?
Yep.
And if you take pride in your work, if you market yourself, if you there's a lot of other things. You mentioned a lot of costs and stuff, right? So there's a lot of costs associated with it. All of those costs should go into you acquiring more customers, right? There's no point in increasing costs for you know, whether it's learning something new, adding another service, right? Expanding your space. All of those things are cool, right? But if
I can't charge you for that. That's me. But all of those things should add customers to your base. As long as you're adding customers, right, then your demand is going up. Right. And then once again, we're back to supply and demand, right? If my demand continues to increase, that number gonna have to increase. You know what I mean? That's the only way it works, because like I said, personal experience, I've been in a space where I knew I was supposed to go up. Yeah. And what was that? 2 summers ago or so? I think maybe like a year or a year and a half ago. Okay. I knew the number was supposed to go up, and I chose not to. Right, we was going through some things, and we did. We held off.
We held off.
Because we're gonna wait till the end of the year instead.
Because we was trying to put together a program.
Yep.
Same thing you said. I want to give more. I want to justify it. I want to make sure. But at the end of the day, what happened was I started to lose customers either way. So once I realized that
I should have just went up.
I should have just went up. I'm going to lose customers no matter what happens, right? You can't control it, right? Your job is to make sure that new customers want to sit in your chair, right? So as long as I can continue to market and bring new customers in, and I'm continuing to push above that 80% mark, of course, my number is going to increase, and I'm going to continue to deliver at the highest level to make sure that my customers are satisfied. That's it.
Plus, if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, with any job, not even just being an entrepreneur, if you worked at any job for an extended amount of time, year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years,
After a certain amount of time.
are you okay with not getting a raise?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
At work, you work the same job for 10 years for the same rate
Yeah. Like
that you came in on? Come on, bro. Like, that's just the reality of things. Every cost of living goes up, cost of everything goes up. Why would our money and what we charge, our prices stay the same?
Yeah.
Because now we're making sure it's easier for you guys,
Mm-hmm.
but we're getting destroyed on the back end.
Right.
Like,
When
Mental.
when
all that.
COVID happened, right?
oh yeah,
Just a prime example, right? When COVID happened,
COVID helped and hurt.
The box of gloves, right? At the time, I used gloves. I've always used gloves.
They
but a lot of
$10
barbers
right now.
yeah, a lot of barbers didn't use gloves before COVID, right? And it depends on where you're from. It depends on whatever. I'm not, no judgment, right? I've always used gloves. I don't like getting my hands dirty. Plus, I used to get hair splinters, right?
Yeah, nah.
So once I got
I'm
a
right
couple
now.
hair splinters, I
I'm
started
mad
using
about it.
gloves, right? But the box of gloves was $10, around $10
Yep.
for 100 gloves or
Yep.
something, right?
The normal joint. Yep.
Yeah. And then once COVID happened, those box of gloves ended up being like $40
Something stupid. Yeah.
What?
for one box of gloves. That's how much they increased because of COVID, because of the supply chain getting interrupted because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
The
So-
cheapest pair I think I found was like $19, and they was breaking left and right. For gloves,
Yeah.
$19,
And
but they was $10.
They was
a month
they was $10. We ended up, the gloves were so crazy. We ended up getting custom gloves with our name on them because they ended up being the same price as the regular
Right.
gloves.
Yeah.
And the custom gloves were about $45 or something like that, somewhere in that range, right? So it ended up making sense for us to be like, if we're going to spend this much, we might as well get gloves
Advertise.
branded, right? But that's just one of the examples of when the cost increase,
Everything
the
went up.
customers on their end, they didn't see that increase.
Right.
That's not something that they cared about. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? To them, they're like, this is life. But
Yeah.
for us, one thing that we use on every single customer increased fourfold. You know what I mean? And that's just one thing. Everything increased because of COVID, because the supply chain affected everything.
That aside, we were in a building that we couldn't even use. So we still paying rent.
Mm-hmm.
Rent didn't stop because of
Mhm.
COVID.
Nope.
So you
Matter of
still
fact,
coming
nothing
out.
stopped.
Nothing.
Cable, PNC,
All that. They still wanted their check.
Mhm.
And look,
The utilities
I
still
don't
had
care
to get
nothing
paid.
about COVID.
We had to pay all of the bills like we were still open,
And we wasn't here.
and we weren't here. You know what I mean?
Just being down. So it was like, that these are things, that's where the having that security
Yep.
in the account comes in handy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, these are the things you got to deal with that clients don't see, but these are the things your barber have to deal with. We're still a company. I mean, this isn't a hustle. This is an actual business.
And if you're
Right.
a service provider, whether it's a barber, braider, stylist, waxer, eyebrow lady, esthetician, right?
Nail
Regardless,
Whatever your
right?
forte.
If whoever you go to, and whoever you go to, like what level they are,
Yep.
whoever you go to, if they're really good, they're going to charge a number.
Absolutely.
Like,
you have to.
and this is not even something that's new to everybody. We all know how this works, right? You know whether you go to the best in the city. If you want to go to the best in the city, you're going to pay best
You
in
gonna
the
pay the
city
number.
prices, right? If you want to go to your little cousin that just started, then you're going to pay little cousin who just started prices.
But you get what you pay for.
But you get what you pay for,
Right.
right? So this is not nothing new. You know what I mean? So when we say how we come up with our prices, if you the best, then you're going to get charged
Yeah.
because I'm the best.
Right.
And my clientele say I'm the best. I'm not saying I am.
No, I'm not at all.
Either my clientele is or they don't. You know what I
I am. It's like,
mean?
You can't call yourself the best and your chair ain't spinning.
yeah.
Absolutely. Like I said, you have to have the clientele to back it up, and
That's
and everything.
Yep. And
And
in that situation, you ain't gotta speak. You ain't gotta speak and call yourself the best.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, your chair
Mhm.
speaks volumes.
You will humbly know.
and
it.
there's one other thing I want to say, something I learned from some other barbers that I worked with, right? And this pertains to all industries, but our industry in particular, because ours is a relatively close-knit industry, right? So I know with barbers, I know where I am in the pecking order and in the food chain of the barbers in the area.
Okay.
And where my number is, right? I know who's more expensive than me.
Yeah.
Put it like that.
Absolutely.
Right?
You have to.
I know who's more expensive than me, and the people who are right under me, I kind of know who they are as well, right? A barber that I worked with explained to me how we have the ability to push the market where we want it to go, right? So this guy that I worked with, he pushed the top of the market. Now we worked in the same barbershop, but he was super good, right?
Man,
I I learned a lot, right? He pushed the top of the market, right? So in our area, if you charging $100, you at the top.
Yep.
Right.
Especially at that time.
Yeah. Right. Especially at that time. This is 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So he informed me, I'm going up. My number's going up. Right. You work with me. Your number's going up too. Yep. Because when my number goes up, your number goes up because we're moving
automatically.
We're moving the market up. You don't stay low and I go up and give people a space. No. I go up. You go up. The whole market increases and we get everybody to follow suit. That way there's no stragglers down there. Nobody is dragging the market lower and we're not underpaid.
But that's a real
as a group
team player.
Absolutely. He understood it.
It's funny because if you don't know him, you don't realize that he's a team player because he moved on his own accord. He's kind of a loner in terms of how he works. He work his own hours. It don't matter if he work at a shop with 10 other guys. I got my hours. I'm gonna come in when I come in, and I'm gonna work when I work. And it's like you could be mad about it, but in the grand scheme of things, prime example, he about team. So when I do something, everybody got to do it because I want y'all to eat the same way I'm eating, and you got to respect that.
And he understood that as a market, as a whole market, right? Don't undercut the market.
He also valued, that's another thing I like about him. He was good, but he also recognized talent, which is why he said, regardless of how you feel about your own cut, you got it and you going up. I'm not giving you a choice. When I send these guys, you going to charge what I'm telling you to charge, not what you want to charge.
I'm sending the clientele that was my clientele
at
the number that they are accustomed to paying.
Exactly.
Right. So if I'm in here and I got my son over there or Vince or Taylor here or whatever, and I send one of my clients go to them, right? My client is accustomed to paying my number.
Exactly.
I don't care what your number is.
Nope.
My client should pay
my number
because they can.
Yep.
They can. Now it's your job to deliver that level of service, but don't let them undercut
you. And that's the thing. You still have to deliver. Whether it's my client, your client, you have to deliver a certain level of service to warrant them paying my number now. So, yeah, no, that's a very valid point. And that was one of the reasons like he's one of my friends, and I respect him as a barber in general because of that whole ideal. Like I'm gonna push this envelope because I can. Just ride out. I got you.
So, not to switch subjects too much, but we have an opportunity, right, for us to. We were talking about what it costs to open a shop. Right.
Yeah.
So we have an opportunity on the table, right, that we haven't even, formally announced.
Not yet.
I mean, the ink is not done yet, so it's still not a formal announcement. Yeah. But we have an opportunity on the table to possibly get another location.
Okay.
What do you think the cost will be if and or when it's time to open this new location? Where do you see these costs, and how do we go into breaking down kind of the same thing, but this is a brand new location, right? And we're not new. We're not starting off. So it's when you're first starting off, like this was your first location, right? This is your first location. So when you're first starting off and you explained how your first one, which is not too far off,
Yeah.
right? You kind of start off at the bottom and it's bare bones. You making it happen.
Yep.
You doing whatever you got to do, right?
Learn as
You're
you
not
go.
getting, but once you kind of get yourself established, you made a couple dollars, you got a little bit of money put up, and it's time to open either change locations or open a secondary location, right? It's a different mindset, right? So where we are, where do you think that number comes in for this new location?
Taking into account all the stuff that was added, the market, and everything.
You got to take all that in, because that's the reality. Don't shortchange the people.
No, you're right. If
You know what I mean?
if
Let
we
them know
got to
the
look at that, we might be looking at close to the same number, honestly. And that's even with the fact that we own all the equipment now.
Mhm.
It's not, there's no payments, so we're bringing a lot of the equipment over. But the build out, the marketing, just the 6 months worth of rent alone, we talking a healthy number. So we probably in about $40,000 range still.
Okay.
You know what I
I was
mean?
gonna say more than that.
It would have been more if we have to buy all new equipment. Like
I think
if we have to buy all new
there's still
cameras,
going to be some things that we are,
we'll still.
you know what I mean, because it's another location.
Yep.
We
learned a lot from this one.
we learned a lot. You know what I mean? So every time you get another location, you get a chance
It's
to
like a
either
level up.
increase. Yeah, you have to level up.
So
Like it only
let's go
makes sense.
safe.
Because I'm saying it's
Let's go
another
50.
location. It's not. It's a second location, not like a switch location, right?
No, it's a switch.
Oh, okay.
It'll
So
be a
not here
switch.
no more.
No. We
Oh,
gonna
okay.
move.
So yeah. So then, yeah. I would say if you said like 40 here, then I would say like 50 there.
Yeah. So like 40 to 50. Let's just go with a solid 50 bands.
Okay. Sounds good. I just wanted to know. I just
Yeah,
wanted to,
That's I think that's when it's all said and done, I think that's going to be the number we'll probably be at. But respectfully, I think if we put that type of money out, I'm looking to get 150 back. So I'm okay with that. That's a nice little flip.
I like it.
Yep.
So should we spin the block on what else I was talking about, or? It was only like, okay. So I was just gonna say like another reason why my prices are my prices. I offer complimentary snacks and refreshments.
Yo.
Another big part I feel like is labor and quality too. Like what I do, my services, most of them take a long amount of time. So it's like for me to not charge like a certain amount of price for the hours that I'm putting in is kind of crazy. I'm just lowballing myself. Like the body be hurting afterwards half the time. So it's like for me not to charge a certain amount of price is kind of crazy. Like, but yeah, and also like I just give like a luxury service / experience overall that's provided to you. So that's pretty much it for me, I was gonna say. But yeah.
Okay.
Come book with me if you need your hair done, braided, all that. Because you're going to get the best with me. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Get the best service.
That's my clients. Check my reviews.
Check my reviews.
You feel me?
That was a good one. Check my reviews.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the end
Right
of
on
the
the
day,
website.
that's where it goes to. Check my reviews.
5-star rated, period.
5-star rated. How's the website?
It's great.
It's great.
I still need to edit a couple things that I just never did because I got lazy and comfortable, and yeah. But besides that, yeah, I love my website.
I want to
Loving it.
in a future pod, I want to have a breakdown conversation in regards to marketing, right?
Yeah, we
And
should definitely do that.
In regards to social media marketing, referrals,
Everything.
SEO as far as like the internet, just Google searches, right? Website.
Yep.
And kind of just dive
The whole-
deeper.
yeah.
Yeah, because especially with barbering, right? And I probably would put braiders in that category because I feel like braiders get, Y'all are like the ugly cousin of stylists. Not that y'all ugly, but you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like y'all
don't get-
I feel like y'all don't get the
same-
level of respect that stylists get, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, you know, a lot of stylists, a lot of salons, they have full rollouts. They have big websites. They have, you know what I mean? They have all of the amenities. But when you're talking about braiders, they kind of like are the little side cousin
We
that
just
don't
got
have
this.
all of those things, right?
Mhm.
So y'all end up having to do all that on your own, right? So I feel like that'd be a good one to kind of talk about as far as
Look, I'm with
how
it.
all of that works and how you can still do it on your own and still, you know, push it to another level, because it's stuff that we still learning
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right now. All these years later, we still learning, you know what I mean? The proper way to market and how to go through the internet and, you know, all of that.
Shoot,
Right?
me
Content
personally,
is crazy.
Me personally, I barely know anything about marketing and advertisement. So whatever you got, give it to me. Because I've been trying on this social media
We've looked
for
at,
long enough.
at different methods and videos. Honestly, it's hit or miss, but it's time and patience. Like marketing is another job.
Yeah.
Like you
It's
really
really-
got to be on it.
Yeah, I feel like the most what pays off the most when it comes to marketing is just being consistent
Consistency.
Yeah, 'cause-
and just
yeah.
trying everything.
Yep.
I
Something got to stick eventually.
yeah, you notice a difference with just being consistent. When you're not consistent or not doing nothing, you're not going to see no results. It's just like you miss 100 of the shot, you miss all the shots. You miss 100 of the
You
shots
about
you
to-
don't
about to
take. You know what I'm
destroy-
saying? Is that the thing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
You know,
saying?
destroy that whole saying. But all
It's
right,
not
we get
coming
it,
in my
we
mind
get
right
it.
now,
It's all
but you
good.
know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
There you go.
There it is.
Good save. Yep.
So, with that being said, that'll wrap up this episode of A Day in a Lifestyle podcast with me, Marie, Rich, and Cliff here. And follow us on Instagram at A Day in a Lifestyle podcast.
Okay.
And subscribe to us on YouTube at Lifestyle Hair Lounge. Peace.
This podcast is being brought to you by Lifestyle Hair Lounge and Hair by Marie Season. If you are looking to look your best man or woman, they will get you ready for a night out or any special occasion. Whether you are looking to go out to a game night, date night, or hanging out after hours, this beard cream will keep you looking and feeling great. LifestyleHairLounge.com